Next, we would like to welcome our first guest, Veteran Outreach Recovery Program Director, Holly Sieren. Holly is the Region 11 Coordinator of the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, Veterans Outreach and Recovery Program. Holly works throughout the state to connect veterans to community services and provide case management and support, with a special focus on treatment and recovery. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Holly, what exactly does a veteran outreach and recovery specialist do?
Oh, okay. So that's a hard question because it's always different day to day. All of us VORP staff, we have our own regions that we cover. So that means that we're mobile. We meet with participants in person. We do street outreach. We go to jails. We go to shelters, and we meet with other agencies and nonprofits. So basically, we collaborate with those different agencies. We provide referrals. We do advocacy for the participant, and we coordinate services so the veteran can get what they need. So for example, I might be doing street outreach, come into contact with a veteran who's living on the street, needs shelter. So I can contact a shelter, see if they have any availability. If not, I can call another agency to see if they can provide a motel voucher if they're eligible. Or if a veteran needs housing, we can connect them to HUD-VASH. And there's also a housing program, coordinated entry. So I can fill out the application, do an assessment with that veteran and get them on that housing program. For participants that do not qualify for federal VA services, then we work with other community providers and nonprofits. And sometimes the veteran, they don't know who to contact for assistance. So we help them navigate through that. And some veterans, they're not able to communicate clearly what their needs are. So we can be that go-between person where we communicate on their behalf and we provide that advocacy. And if they need AODA treatment, we can coordinate that. WDVA does have some funds that are available to assist with residential treatment. And it's for veterans that do not have VA healthcare insurance and they're not eligible for that. We've worked with veterans that are in the middle of a health crisis or a mental health crisis. And in those cases, we partner up with crisis in the area or the VA or the behavioral health units. And then we work on goals with the veterans. So we find out what are their short-term and long-term goals and how do we get them so we can help them achieve those goals.
Well, you definitely do a lot.
It's different every day.
Yeah, I'm sure. We're also interviewing the CVSOs in your region. In what ways do your offices partner?
So if I get a veteran that needs to file a claim, I will contact the CVSO for that, or they need to upgrade their discharge status, or if there's anything else, I know the CVSO is kind of the go-to person to help them, then I contact them. Or if a CVSO is helping a veteran that they think could really benefit from VORP services and case management, then they would contact me. Sometimes a veteran has an immediate need, like they really need shelter. So the CVSO would call VORP. We can see if we can work on getting them into a shelter right then. Or like if a veteran's working on a claim and he's one of our participants, I can contact the CVSO to see like what's the status of their claim and where they at. We collaborate, work together.
Perfect. It sounds like a good relationship.
Yes, it is.
So I've read a story about how you helped a female veteran who recently lost her husband and her income. How were you and WDVA able to assist her?
So I had this veteran. She was originally living in Texas, and then her husband had died unexpectedly. So she had that loss of income, and that caused her to lose her home. She became homeless, and then she was living in her car. So she moved up here to be with her family, but that environment was really toxic to her mental health. So she contacted me. I was able to use WDVA funds, get her in a motel room for that night. All the emergency shelters in the area were full at that time. So I contacted a nonprofit in the area for additional motel vouchers that they could provide her until a shelter became available. Once she was in the shelter, then we started working on getting her HUD vash. So I helped her through that application process and get her the documentation that she needed. And then once she was approved for that, we worked on finding her an apartment that would accept HUD vash. And now she is housed and she's doing great.
Perfect. Good. That's really good to hear. It's
Yeah.
how everything comes together. So now the hardest question I have for you. What's the best way for a veteran get in contact with your office?
So they can call or text me at 262-225-7636. I'll give you that number again. It's 262-225-7636. Or they can email me, and that's Holly, HOLLY Sieren, SIEREN at dva.wisconsin.gov.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us and doing this interview. We got a lot of good information. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having me.